Okay. So, I went through the first one about the Octobrain monsters, and then today on Ellen Page's Life of Mystery, ambushed in front of homeless people by men standing right in front of her. More ghost Octobrains and Goth Ellen as a heavy metal beast. Now, before I read the rest of this post, I'm going to get to the entities. Okay, one, they're fucking demons, except for Aiden and all the other spirits communicating through her. The ones attacking her are fucking demons. Okay, call them fucking demons. I don't care about your stupid cop-out ending with the there's no God, no devil, no heaven, no hell. Fuck you for not having the guts. Well, you had the guts to deny, but you didn't have the guts to go, well, gee, what's the afterlife like? Maybe there is a heaven, maybe there's a hell. No, you went for this general thing where souls are just wandering this extraterrestrial plane. Except for her, because she's going back to Earth to help stop the apocalypse. And I'm really... the end of this long-winded rant, we're going to be talking about that shitty-ass ending. They're fucking demons. Okay? Aiden's a ghost. The spirits talking to her, not trying to kill her, are ghosts. The Octobrains are demons. And yet, the game cops out goes, well, we can't use that word. Let's call them entities. Okay, while technically you're right, the problem is they make no effort to distinguish the malevolent ones from the benevolent ones. They just wrap them all up as they're all entities. And I can kind of understand that. Because Aiden, let's be fucking honest here, can be a real dickbag. And the way I played it, because I stopped taking this game seriously within the first 10 minutes, was, that's how lame the writing is sometimes. I did everything I could just to piss people off. Like when she's being hooked up to the machine as a little kid and you have the cards. You have an option to scare the living shit out of the woman in the next room, and I just did everything I could to make her life miserable. I did seek revenge on the teenagers in the party. Her date with Ryan, I went out of my way to make it that date miserable. Not just with Aiden, but with Jody. And I'll talk about that here in a sec, because that's a... woo! Yeah, Ryan is Ryan's a video on its own. So yeah, I can see why they'd wrap the entities of Aiden and these demons into one ball and just fucking call them entities. But this is a Department of Paranormal Research. They would distinguish them. Okay, here's the thing. The Army, we have terrorists. But we just don't go, oh, well, he's a terrorist, he's a terrorist, he's a terrorist. We have different groups. We have Al-Qaeda. We have terrorists that are in Africa. We have terrorists that are in America. We don't just go, you're terrorists. We don't care what you are, because each type of terrorist, whether they're suicide bombers or, the type of terrorists that are going to take hostages on airplanes, like what happened in I believe it was Iraq with the Ayatollah and Jimmy Carter. Different tactics. Different tactics for handling them. You're just not going to go, they're terrorists, we'll just do this and it'll be over, because it's a gross generalization. You don't go to war, let's say World War II, and go, well, let's see, Japan, Germany, and yes, they summed them up in the Axis, but if you look at the techniques we used, they were kind of different. We defeated the Germans by going up to war with them, but we realized that the Japanese were overpowering us on a technical base. So we fucking nuked them. Now, I'm not saying, it's right in the long run, because they're still suffering the effects, but it ended the war. It was a completely different tactic. We didn't do the same thing we did with the Germans, because, frankly, we would have gotten our asses kicked, probably. I'm not going to go back in time and change it. One, don't have a time machine. Two, if I had a time machine, chances are I'd kill my dog and then bring him back to life because of Wait, that's Family Guy. Never mind. And 3, that'd be stupid. I don't want to cause more pain than's absolutely necessary. But that's... Anyway. They would distinguish the entities from one another. Oh. Which brings me to another point in the game. Yeah, you fight the entities in several points. But towards the end, where they build a portal, and Jodie has to shut it down as a teenager. Another country builds a portal, and she has to shut that one down. And of course, each time they make the mistake of opening the portal. I'm not getting to the Navajo one because that's a bit different. So what does Nathan do after seeing that every time they open a portal, there's a catastrophic series of events that usually leads to bad entities coming out? Well, one of the dumbest lines ever spoken is said, and I'm going to get to that here in a bit because I made a post about that. But Nathan immediately goes, I want to talk to my family. I'm going to open a portal. Haven't you been paying attention? You just sent me on this mission to shut down this portal. Years ago, you sent me on a mission to shut down a portal because what happens every time a portal is open? Shit happens! Now, the rest of this post. Seriously, if David Cage was wanting Beyond Two Souls to be emotional and realistic as its premise can get, he should have known that she would have been killed long before she was handed to the government for whatever testing Paul Smecker is doing to her. And yes, I started calling Willem Dafoe's character Paul Smecker and Norman Osborn. I mean, she even mentions that Aiden was afraid of the Octobrains would stop attacking when other people are around. Now, that's kind of realistic of ghost entities if you believe in ghosts, but there's a reason I am griping about that, and that's mainly because of later in the game, they start attacking other people indiscriminately. So why would they stop when other people show up? Yeah. Also, the entities thing. Aiden is a ghost, I'm pretty sure. Yes, he is. And the Octobrains are demons. Yes, they are. So that's, yeah. I already ranted on that. Now, these are all from yesterday, and I want to check my Facebook, make sure I didn't add anything I forgot. Yeah, it's the homeless people. Yeah, let's talk about the homeless people mission, because, one, this game doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't know if it wants to be a CIA sci-fi thriller. It doesn't know if it wants to be a horror game. It doesn't know if it wants to be Forrest Gump. She helps Navajo people while on her walk across America, and she helps a group of homeless people while on her walk across America, including saving a man getting beaten by jackass teenagers with a camera, which, by the way, Hobo with a Shotgun did vastly better, and helping the pregnant homeless woman give birth. Now, apparently there's also the option to heal the drug addict, which I was never given. Yeah. And if you look at a picture of Stan's wife and find out that she's dead, you'll see her spirit standing next to Stan when they're all having dinner, which I have mentioned before. Well, you save Stan from getting the shit knocked out of him by kicking the shit out of the guys beating him up. They set the building on fire after you helped Tuesday give birth. Now, this is the alleyway. Okay? Put it. There we go. The alleyway. Someone, to set the building on fire, would have had to go through the alley and been hiding where there's no place to hide. I mean, they kind of pan out and show that there's no place to hide. In fact, except for a dumpster, but when they have an overhead view, there's no one there. These guys are hiding in the open. Here's the homeless people. She jumps out, joins the homeless people. Guy comes from nowhere, hits her in the back of the head, despite the fact some of the homeless people are facing the direction he's coming from, and then the other guys come up. But how? For that matter, if he wasn't by the dumpster, which they deliberately show, that means this dumbass would have been having to hide in the burning building. And even then, they don't hit her in the back of the head immediately. They hit her in the back, and that somehow renders her unconscious. Now, okay, getting hit in the back with a baseball bat hurts like fuck, okay? I've been there before. But there's no fight scene. That's... In the context of the story, I know what they're going for, but the way it's done is half-assed. Because they deliberately show there's no one there. Now, I believe my next post will elaborate on... Oh, come on, I know I posted that. Because there is... Oh, it was just on Facebook, okay. This scene in particular pissed me off. Be warned. I think Beyond Two Souls is proving that David Cage is a misogynist. Put the torches down, I'll explain. I guess you could argue the rape attack in Heavy Rain does that, but here's the thing. No, seriously, put the torches down. It serves a purpose with Madison's character showing why... Torches down, I told you. Why she has depression and insomnia, as well as obsessing over helping people. Now, granted, I think the doctor trying to shove a drill up her was a little unnecessary, but her introduction does kind of show why she's helping Ethan, why she's obsessed with doing this. It's not because she's damaged. She doesn't want anyone else to go through that pain. It's a pretty good reason. And yet, I hear all the time, well, they just wanted her to run around in her underwear and have men forcibly have sex with her. No. If you played through the game, you would see that they weren't kind of being nice about the fact, and not just to her. They were kind of making these guys look like dickbags, too. Yeah. So far, Jodie in Beyond Two Souls, or Ellen Page's Life of Mystery, has been attacked by her friends and slut-shamed, beaten up by men twice, had a random kid try to kill her in a snowball fight. She's in a snowball fight with these kids, and this random kid comes up, tackles her, and starts trying to suffocate her. And was almost raped, and will eventually have the option of sleeping with her boss. Like I said, Ryan is probably going to be his own video. In every attack, save for one, she's been the damsel in distress, despite showing that she was trained in self-defense. Now, I can understand when she was almost raped, she wasn't trained at that point. When she was a kid, she wasn't trained in self-defense. There are exceptions to that rule, but with the homeless people just being hit in the back with a bat and falling to the ground, she's going to get back up or do something. She's going to be pissed. I guess they're going with the whole, oh, she has smoke in her lungs, but Iden should have been protecting her from that because he's done it before. Similar things. And taking out a group of armed men. What exactly is the message of this game? I still can't figure that one out. It supposedly has one, but all I'm getting is the frail woman needs the help of men or her ghost brother, and I was only theorizing it was her ghost brother at this point. I didn't know. To save her. The one time she defends herself, she is nearly killed by the same guy she fought off. Now, this was before the CIA mission, which was stupid as hell anyway, because of reasons I'll get to in a second, or here in a bit. after this, I was curious and like, let's see if I can find feminist or gaming blogs about Beyond Two Souls. Now, to establish my point, my problem with Beyond Two Souls is the same problem I'm having with the Tomb Raider game. And it's not the, hey, let me molest Laura, oh wait, no, I'm going to strangle you scene, because that was stupid as hell in the first place. No! The men get shot, they get crushed, but you never see them, you know, explode like you see Laura do. Laura has the most grisly, gory deaths outside of a God of War game or a Mortal Kombat game. And it basically makes it seem like, see, women can get hurt too. Well, there's the problem with it. We know women can get hurt because they're people. We don't need to see a woman's organs being crushed! We don't! Okay, God of War. You're supposed to be showing the brutality of war. Kratos is a brutal bastard hat who's killing these people, ripping heads off them. Yeah, that's different. And yes, God of War has crossed the line for me a few times, especially Ascension. As much as I like the game, I hate the fact that they actually went out of their way to detail the expressions changing as you're lobotomizing someone. It was gross and unnecessary. It was worse than the fact that Kratos is stabbing his sword through someone's brain. No one in the right mind wants to see that. Just like no one in the right mind wants to see Laura's individual bones crushing as she's screaming in pain because a rock fell on her. This feminist blog says, I shit you not, Beyond Two Souls doesn't damsel her. Really? Because every fucking time she's in trouble, I have this line memorized. Aiden, help me! Because she's too frail and helpless, even with her fucking combat training, to help herself. I have served with women who were more capable than Jodie. And I'm not saying, oh, let's take that lightly. I'm saying that, okay, let me put this in perspective. I had a friend die in the army because of an IED blast. In all seriousness. She died due to complications, not from the blast itself. And, she lived for 2 years after the blast. She survived by fighting back. She did call on her battle buddies, not just because most of them were dead, but because she was trying to defend her position. That's a real-life scenario, right? Jodie is trained by the CIA. She gets pinned down by 3 guys and immediately calls for help. Fuck you. That is the stupid damsel in distress trope that needs to fucking die in fire. To an extent. You know, anyone who's watched Seven does it. Understands that there are good reasons for it. Say Clementine in the first Walking Dead episode, Princess Peach who doesn't know how to defend herself. But you could do the same thing with boys. You could do the same thing with men. You can do the same thing with anyone. It doesn't have to necessarily be a woman. Every fuck time Jodie is in any slight bit of trouble, she calls on Aiden. Now, I'm going to cut this video here because I'm going to continue this rant. I need to refresh my drink. I'm starting to wish it was alcohol at this point. But when I get back, we're going to continue our discussion on the fact that Jodie is a fucking damsel. Stay tuned.